Welcome to Furniture of My Mind, your quirky Sunday morning podcast, in which I bring you, it's complicated. Today, I bring you many happy returns. Let me start at the very beginning. Actually, I could start in the middle, but then I will have to run to the beginning and then back to the middle, which would not be the middle from the beginning's point of view. It may just be later, further on, or subsequently, as a very dear friend of mine likes to say. I love her subsequentlies and was quite in awe of them, never having comfortably used the word myself. You know how it is. Like human relationships, you're closer to some words. Heck, some you're even intimate with. Some you are dependent upon. Some are like your old comfy shoes, which you just have to have, whatever the occasion. And some you have a formal relationship with. You may use them in writing, but there is a certain amount of formal reserve, a distant aura about them, which doesn't quite let your tongue toss them around. Subsequently was one such word for me. It was probably too long for me as a connecting word. The squirrel in me usually wants to skip and jump as thoughts swirl. You guessed it. How? Anyway, coming back to subsequently, see, I'm perfectly comfortable holding it up like an important persona to be talked about and analyzed. I get it. I feel it's not fair to use this diva as a mere connector. It has such a silky feel to it. Love the way each syllable tumbles onto the next one. Subsequently. Ooh, try it. Subsequently. So anyway, this dear friend would mouth it just right, and I would love to watch her as she did. Sounds weird. All the words preceding and succeeding it would be uttered in the same measured tone of voice, so that they were like an evenly strung string of pearls. Oh, I get it. One of my voices lacks a measured tone. That's why... Wait, did I say one? Uh-oh, I've come too far on this limb. Talking of limbs, no, zip it. We are heading back where we started from. Whee! Many happily return to the beginning. Phew. So, in the beginning, there was birth. Well, birthdays always start with birth, and birth having occurred once, what you're left with after that is just days. And days and days. Days when you can celebrate being alive, but strictly speaking, you can't be bodily born again. Like all of us, I don't remember the day I was born, but every year on that date, once I had tottled my way to a decent vertical dimension, would be a party for my friends. A cake, a crate of Coke, some snacks and games is what I remember from those parties. Since the usual joy quotient playing with the same friends was pretty high anyway, this was just another day when there was some special goodies and things being organized by grown-ups. Yes, that was an era when grown-ups didn't routinely organize days for their offspring. So in a nutshell, I enjoyed my birthday, but it was a small part of a package of wonderful memories being created by my senses every day. The grown-ups around had no fuss birthdays, and I don't remember them keeping track of each other's birthdays or any major wishing happening on those dates. As I was growing up, things changed, and somewhere along the way I noticed that one was expected to remember the birthdays of close family members and friends. Now this circle kept expanding at a decent rate, and it was often difficult to keep track of in the pre-Facebook era. I would either forget birthdays completely or remember them a day earlier or later. Friends and close family often felt offended if you forgot their birthday, and it seemed monotonous to keep apologizing for it. So I finally found a way out of this birthday forgetfulness by wishing people on their monthly birthdays, since a 20th or any other date comes 12 times a year. As is human nature, people thought it was an interesting, novel idea to be wished on a day when no one else was wishing them. This technique of saying happy monthly birthday was, however, short-lived and only proved to be a fad on my way to total birthday atheism. I figured that when we say many happy returns of the day, we were wishing that day would come back year after year. So why couldn't I make a wish like that on just any day of the year? My wishing my friends thus on the phone on a random date was met with a bewildered silence for a few seconds, following which they would fumble with words and sounds, much to my amusement. Often I would hear a thoroughly perplexed, "What's today?" as the person at the other end of the line frantically went through mental files at 10x speed. I would silently mouth, "For starters, you're alive." On a parallel track were two other thoughts which were fast gaining ground and on their way to becoming firm convictions. One was the sheer absurdity of claiming a date to be mine, as if you had a certificate from it from the patent office. I mean, come on, how many millions of other people must have been and continue to be born on the same date as me? Secondly, instead of de-elevating the status of my birthday, I decided to elevate the status of all the other 364 days, so that now I truly believe that each day is a celebration. I wake up each morning and look at the day ahead with eager anticipation, never once doubting its ability to turn out to be special in one way or another. And I am rewarded almost every day. This also led to not feeling pressurized to celebrate on a particular date, which often stumps people who call up to wish me on my birthday and follow it up with asking how I was celebrating my special day. In fact, one such friend felt I was probably feeling low when I responded with, "Each day is a celebration. I don't feel bound by dates to celebrate," and tried to perk me up while I struggled to explain my conviction. Now, I have given up doing that. In true theorem-proving fashion, I thus concluded that since I can wish a friend any day of the year, my good wishes should be taken for granted, and the wishing can be dispensed of altogether. The same applies to Happy New Year. A year is 365 days. I can wish my friends on any day for the next 365 days. But I don't want to limit my good wishes to just 365 days. They are with them forever. And hence, no wishing is required. So now, my closest friends know that I wish them well each day of every year, and I never need to put it in words. This is also a step towards avoiding falling in the current trap of overuse of words and communication tools. The silent celebration of the most important things in life is usually only felt, and I don't see the need to bring it down a notch or two by trying to bind it in words. It would be akin to tying up a firefly with a string of fairy lights. So if someone asks me, "How are you celebrating?" I ask, "How are you celebrating?" And if they say, "But it isn't my birthday," then my answer would be, "Why aren't you celebrating being alive today, dude? Being able to speak, hear, walk, talk, laugh, read, write, watch, think. Can any gift hamper get larger than that? Huh? How does going out for a meal or a movie even start to compare with this ongoing celebration of just being alive?" Close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. And think about it. I wish you many happy returns of today.